Assalamu alaikum student. Today we are just going to start the new chapter, uh, chapter number 11. Now the name of the chapter number 11 is heat. Now we having here 12 topics, but today we will just study up to the 5 topics. The first one, we will study about the temperature. The second one is the general features of a thermometer. Third one is the mercury in glass thermometer. Fourth is thermal expansion. Fifth is linear thermal expansion of solid. Volume of thermal expansion. Seventh one is the anomalous expansion of water. Eighth is White's law. Ninth is Charles' law. 10th is general gas equation. 11 is heat capacity. And 12 is specific heat. Previously, I was told you that today we will just study up to the 5 topic, mean linear thermal expansion of solid. And now here, first of all, our topic is the heat. So according to the condition, what did you think about the heat? I hope so. You are thinking about that heat. We can say that is in simple words, heat is a degree of temperature. In scientific terms, heat is a form of energy found in an object that has a higher temperature than its surrounding. It flows from one body to another body due to difference of temperature. Heat contained in an object depends on its mass, the substance it is made, and its temperature. Its unit is in SI system in joule. And now here in the previously we have discussed about the matter. So very well matter is composed of atoms or molecules. So we can say heat, we can say that uh, it is a form of energy. So whenever the molecule or atoms are present in a matter, so they are in motion, or we can say they having the kinetic energy. So according to the heat, we can say that the total kinetic energy of molecules or atom is said to be the heat energy. So, in other words, I'm just going to repeat my definition. Heat, we can say, that is the total kinetic energy of the molecule or atom is said to be the heat. Mean, we can say, yeah, let's suppose a body having just 4 molecules. So, one molecule having the energy is 10 joules, second one having the 15 joules, and third one having the 20 joules, and fourth one having the 10 joules. So we are just going to add all of the energy, so we get total kinetic energy. So we can say heat is the total kinetic energy of the molecule. So here, if the heat is a form of energy, so we can say the unit of heat is joule. And how we can measure the heat? Heat can be measured by a device. That device is said to be the calorimeter. Calorimeter is a device which is used to measure the heat energy. Now the second we are having the topic is the temperature. Temperature is, it is just going to relate with the we can say heat, but the difference is that heat is the total kinetic energy of molecule or atom, but in temperature it is the average kinetic energy of molecules and atom. So temperature is the average kinetic energy of molecules or atom. So in other words, we can also say that temperature is the degree of hotness or coolness of a body is called its temperature. We can say that uh, the degree of hotness or coolness of a body is called its temperature. The temperature depends upon internal kinetic energy of a substance. It can be increased by heating its temperature is a thermal property in SI system. Its unit is Kelvin. Now here I'm just going to repeating my words again. You can say, okay, let's suppose we're having the four molecules of a matter. So we are just going to sum up all of the kinetic energy of the molecule and we will divide by 4. Then we get an average value. So that average kinetic energy of the molecule, we can say that is the temperature of the temperature of the substance. Now here, we can say that इसको बंद करो जरा, स्टॉप करो इसको रिकॉर्डिंग. Okay. And now here, if we feel hot on touching a body, it is said to have degree of hotness, whereas if we feel cold, we say that the body has a degree of coldness. Now, for example, if we keep our hand in cold water and then dip in warm water, it will feel hot. Mean, if we keep our hand in hot water and then dip them in warm water, the water will feel cold. So we can say that now, so we can say the touch method gives only a rough estimate of hotness or coldness. The exact degree is measured by a thermal device called thermometer. Mean, we can say that thermometer is a device by which we can measure the temperature of the any type of the body. So thermometer is a device which is used to measure the hotness and coolness of the body. So that is measured in terms of, we can say, in the average kinetic energy of the object. Now, the next one, we are just here going to discuss about the general features of a thermometer. So we can say that every thermometer have the two fixed point on it. Mean the first point we can say that is the freezing point, and the second one we can say that is the boiling point. So the lower fixed point and the upper fixed point, these points gives are arbitrarily assigned numerical value. Mean these two values are showing numerically or numerical value, then which represents some fixed temperature on water. So we can say here the interval between these points is divided arbitrarily into divisions of equal width depending on the numerical values of these fixed points. We have a thermometer of a particular type. Mean we having the different types of the thermometer by which as usually we are using as a alcohol thermometer. Usually we are using as we can say strip thermometer. We are using in our daily life, that is a clinical thermometer, or that is a mercury thermometer. So we having the different types of the or we can say different features of a thermometer that having the two end point. The first is said to be the boiling point and the second one is said to be the freezing point. Now Here, first of all, we are going to discuss about the mercury in glass thermometer. Mercury is a good conductor of heat. It expands and contracts on increasing and decreasing its temperature. Hence, mercury is used in a liquid in glass thermometer. There are mainly three scales of temperature in which mercury is used as a thermometric substance. They are listed and described below. Now here we can say that mercury is a good conductor of heat. Why it is a good conductor of heat? Because when we are giving the temperature to it, then it will be expand. I mean, a very little temperature, mercury having the tendency or ability to expand. So whenever we are increasing temperature, so their expansion will be increased, and we are decreasing the temperature, then their expansion will be decreased or it will be contract. So here we are looking, this is the figure of a mercury thermometer. Now in the construction of a mercury thermometer, this is said to be the bulb, and this bulb is just going to connected with a glass tube. We take a glass tube of a uniform and fine bore called capillary of the thermometer. Mean this tube, this glass tube is connected with a capillary tube. You are observing here there is a very fine tube. So this fine tube is said to be the capillary of thermometer. Now, the capillary tubing ends on a glass tube, a glass bulb. Mean this capillary tube are connected with the bulb. This bulb is filled with the mercury. The bulb and the capillary tube are filled with mercury. After heating to drive out all the air, the capillary tube is sealed. As the mercury cools and the contract, the space above it in the capillary tube become partially vacuum. Mean when we are going to cover it at the top and the bottom of the mercury thermometer, so we are just going to evacuate by the ears. Mean we are just going to suck up all of the air, so it will just become a vacuum. So we can say it is just going to be easily it is just going to be easily can be transformed, or expansion or contraction will be created. And now here we can say that the next one we having the Celsius thermometer or Celsius scale of temperature. Celsius we can say for the temperature we having uh, the different we can say scale, but the main unit of the thermometer temperature is Kelvin. The main we can say unit of the main or SI unit of the temperature is Kelvin, and Kelvin is represented by the capital K. While the other we are looking or observing in Celsius or degree centigrade, or we can say Fahrenheit. These are the sub scales of the thermometer. These are the sub scale of the thermometer. So now here we are discuss about the scale of temperature. This scale, the temperature are measured with respect to 1000 temperature called the triple point of water, which is arbitrarily taken to be 273.16 Kelvin. Mean the initial point from where it's just going to be start, that in 273 and ending up to 373 Kelvin. So when we are going to convert into the Celsius, so Celsius is just going to be start from the 0 and ending up to the 100. So 0 degree we can say that is the freezing point of water, while the boiling point of water is 100 degree centigrade. Now At this temperature, all the three states of water, like ice, water, and water vapor, can coexist in equilibrium. Now, this temperature is the 0 of Celsius scale, called 0 degree centigrade. This is the lower fixed point of the thermometer. Lower fixed point of the thermometer, we can say that is a freezing point. The upper fixed point on this scale is temperature of steam at 1 atmos atm, 1 atmospheric pressure, which is taken to be 100 degrees centigrade. Mean the boiling point of the water is 100 degrees centigrade. The interval between these points is divided into 100 equal parts. Each part measure 1 degree centigrade. Mean we can say there are 100 divisions of the Celsius scale, right? As well as in the Kelvin, it is also having the 100 division. Now the next one is the Kelvin scale, which I was told you here now. The lower, we can say, the lower fixed point of this thermometer, we can say that is the that of this thermometer is the triple point of water, which is 273 Kelvin. Mean the upper fixed point is the temperature of steam at 1 atm, 1 atmospheric pressure. We can say that uh, we can we can say that the upper fixed point of this uh, is the temperature of steam at 1 atm. This temperature is marked as 373 Kelvin. Mean we can say the boiling point of the water is 373 Kelvin, while the freezing point of water is 273 Kelvin. The interval between these points is divided into 100 equal parts. Mean it having the 100 equal parts, so we can say it having the 100 division. Each part measured 1 Kelvin. An interval of 1 degree Celsius is equal to the interval of 1 Kelvin. The zero of this scale marked 0 Kelvin starts from minus 273 degree Celsius. This is lowest temperature ever reached. This temperature is called absolute zero, and due to this, it is also called absolute temperature scale. Any temperature measured in Celsius scale can be converted into Kelvin scale according to the relation. Mean Tk is equal to Tc plus 270. Mean when we are just going to convert Celsius into the Kelvin, then we just have to be added 273 Kelvin in degrees centigrade or Celsius. So it can be converted into the SI unit of the temperature. Now here we are just going to discuss about the types of the thermometer. So the first here we have observed the clinical thermometer. So here in the clinical thermometer, we can say it is modified form of an ordinary thermometer. Since the normal temperature of a healthy person is about 37 degrees centigrade or 98.4 degree Fahrenheit. It has a short range of temperature from 35 degree to 43 degree, or we can say 95 degree Fahrenheit to 110 degree Fahrenheit. Means in a clinical thermometer, we are just going to observe the Fahrenheit, and it is just going to start from the 95 degree Fahrenheit to 110 degree Fahrenheit. And when we are just going to convert into the Celsius, then it can also be said that it's starting from 35 degrees centigrade and ending up to the 43 degrees Celsius. Now the next one is, we can say Fahrenheit is scale of temperature. So Fahrenheit is scale of the temperature, we can say it is just going to start from the 32 and ending up to the starting from 32 degree Fahrenheit and ending up to the 212 Fahrenheit. So we can say it having 180 equal parts. It having the 180 equal parts. So the lower fixed point on this scale is the triple point of water or melting point of ice at 1 atmospheric pressure, which is marked as 32 degree Fahrenheit. The upper fixed point is the temperature of steam at 1 atmospheric pressure. This temperature is marked as 212 degree Fahrenheit. These points divided into 180 equal parts. Each part measured 1 degree Fahrenheit. I was told you in my previous lecture. And now here we having the three scales. We having the three scales of the thermometer. We having the three scales of the thermometer. The first one is the Fahrenheit, the second one is Celsius, and the third one is the Kelvin. So you know we're starting here now. Fahrenheit just going to start from 32 degree and ending up to 212 degree Fahrenheit, while Celsius is starting from 0 degree centigrade and ending up to 100 degree centigrade, while the Kelvin is starting from 273.15 Kelvin and ending up to 373.15 degree Kelvin. While you are looking here, there is a some lowered value. Then some lower value is come into the negative way. So after 32, we are writing then 0 degree Fahrenheit, then come into the negative 280 degree Fahrenheit, and the last one is the minus 460 degree Fahrenheit. While in the Celsius, after 0 getting the minus 18 degree centigrade, then minus 173 degree centigrade, and the last one is the minus 273 degree centigrade. Now here in the Kelvin, before we can say before 273.15 degree Kelvin, then it is come in 256 or 255 Kelvin, then reduce into 100 Kelvin and come into the 0 Kelvin. So here we having the four ways. Mean boiling point of water is 212 Fahrenheit, 100 degree centigrade and 373.15 Kelvin. Highest temperature our enclosed in US, we can say that is the 134 degree Fahrenheit, 56.7 degree centigrade and 313 Kelvin. Freezing point is 32 degree Fahrenheit and 0 degree centigrade and 273.15 Kelvin. After that, moon at its coldest, the coldest value is minus 280 degree Fahrenheit, minus 173 degree centigrade, and Kelvin 100 degree Kelvin. Absolute value in Fahrenheit is minus 460 degree Fahrenheit, while in Celsius that is minus 273 degree Celsius, in the Kelvin 0 Kelvin. Now also here we are just going to discuss about the thermal expansion. So what do you think about the thermal expansion, and what is the therm, or what is the thermal? Now here, you know, thermal comes from the therm, and therm means that is the heat. Therm we can say that is the heat. So when we are saying thermal expansion, so what it will done? Thermal expansion means when we are providing the temperature or heat to any object, then it will be expand. So this expansion is called thermal expansion. Now look here, almost all material bodies, whether solid, liquid or gas expands on heating, it expand is called thermal expansion. Now, thermal expansion in solid, we can say, uh, let's suppose we are uh, providing the temperature or heat to any solid material, so it will be expand. So that we can say said that thermal expansion in solid. Let's suppose we can say if a hole is made on a metal plate. Now here we are taking a metal plate and we are making a hole on it, and then heated the size of the hole increasing because of its expansion. Now after made a hole, we are just going to measure the size of the hole. After that, we are providing heat to this plate or this metal plate. So we will observe that the size of the hole will be increasing, and then we also measure their size. So we will observe that there are big distance of the measuring or the size of the hole. When there there was no heat to the plate, so their hole is at the actual situation, the actual place. But when we are applying the heat energy or temperature, so their size is going to be increased. So what will happen? Then heated, the size of the hole increases because of its expansion. The inner edge of the plate forming the hole is metallic and hence expand on heating. This result in the increase in the size of the hole. Now, on the second way, another example of this experiment of the solid. Let's suppose in the previous class we have just taken an experiment regarding the ring and the ball. Uh, we having a ring ball when without applying the temperature, if we pass through the metallic ball with the ring, so it is going to be easily passed through it. Now, when we are going to provide the temperature to the solid sphere, so after providing the temperature in few minutes, and when we are going to pass through this ball by the ring, so we observe that that ball will not be passed through. Why? What is the reason? The reason is that when we are providing the temperature or heat energy to this sphere, so it is just going to be expand, and that expansion we can say that that is the thermal expansion of the uh, uh, object or thermal expansion in solid. Now here, take a metallic ball which just passes through a ring. Now let's see, we are taking a metallic ball which passes through a ring. Now, the ball is heated at high temperature. Now, this ball is heated at a high temperature. So, the ball is again try to pass, but no use. Now, we are just going to pass through it. So, this ball is not going to be passed through it. Why? This shows that the ball has expanded on heating. This is the reason why allowances is made for the expansion of solid as a safety measure. Now, that's why we can say, okay, this is the reason why allowances is made for the expansion of solid as a safety measure. So, we are just going to be applied any sort of the object which are not going to be pass out the heat energy. A gap is left between the adjacent rail of a railway track. Why? Because space is left between the beam and the wall of the building to allow the safe expansion of the beam during summer season. Meanwhile, we are giving a gap in between the adjacent rails of a railway track because during the summer season, so what will be happen? That will be expand, and by this heat energy, it is just going to cover up the gap. Now, The next one, we having the linear thermal expansion of solid. Linear thermal expansion of solid. So first of all, what does linear means? Linear, we can say that is the length. Linear, we can say that is the length. So when we are attaching the term thermal expansion, so what will be happen? We can say the linear thermal expansion of solid means when it is going to increase their length when we are providing the heat energy. So we can say one dimensional thermal expansion, that is expansion along the length of a long solid body on heating, is called linear thermal expansion. When what will be happen? When we are providing the heat energy to any solid material, so its length will be increasing. When length will be increased, then we can say it is said to be the linear thermal expansion. Now here we can say that explanation and derivation. Now here consider a thin rod so that its expansion is nearly one dimensional along its length. Let's suppose we are taking a thin rod. First, the ground temperature or our environmental temperature is just representing by the T1, and the original length uh, we can say that is said to be the L1. Now, very good example of the linear thermal expansion of in the previously I was told you that there is a gap between the railway track. Why? Or beam, two beam, two adjacent beam. Why? Because they have the linear thermal expansion, and due to this linear thermal expansion, they just going to overcome or overcover these the gap by the when the temperature is going to be increased. When the temperature is going to be increased, it is just the length will be increased, and when the length will be increased, it is just going to cover up the gap of the two tracks of the railway. Now, so here in this explanation, I was told you that uh, T1 is the initial temperature and L1 is the original length. But when we are providing the temperature to this thin rod, then what will be happen? You are observing that the length is just going to be increasing. I mean, by the providing the heat energy or temperature, their length is increases. So the second temperature is represented by the T2, mean we can say here, and the second length by which it is increasing by the temperature is represented by the L2. So we can say that here T2 is greater than T1. Now here final temperature is greater than the initial temperature, because when we are increasing the temperature, so their length is increasing. And now here we can say that. Now let L1 be its original length at temperature T1. The rod is heated to temperature T2 so that its length increases to L2. I was told you previously. So here delta L. Now here delta L is said to be the change in length. Delta L is said to be the change in length. Mean that is be the increase in length, or delta L is equal to L2 minus L1. Mean when we are taking a difference between the final length or change in length and the original length, then we got the how much the change in length will be happen. So when the rise in temperature due to heating is delta T. So delta T can also said to be the T2 minus T1. Delta T means that is the T2 minus T1. It is found experimentally that the increase in length varies directly with the original length and also varies directly with the increase of temperature. So we can say that, okay, when we are increasing uh, the temperature, their length will be increasing. When we are increasing the temperature, so their length will be increasing, right? So we can say this sign is using as a directly proportional. So you know very well, in the directly proportional, when we are increasing the one object, then the other object will also be increasing. So delta L, when change in length is directly proportional to the product of original length and the change in temperature. So when we are removing it, the sign of proportionality, we will just going to write the constant. Now here constant is alpha. This alpha means that is the coefficient of linear thermal expansion. Mean different object or different metal having the different value of the coefficient of linear thermal expansion. Different material having the different coefficient of linear thermal expansion. Now here we are getting delta L is equal to alpha L1 delta T. Now to find the coefficient of linear thermal expansion, we are just going to shift L1 and delta T on the other side. So here L1 delta T is multiplying with the alpha or coefficient of linear thermal expansion. When we are going to transfer on the other side, so it will come into the division. So we can say alpha is equal to delta L upon L1 delta T. Now, where where alpha is a constant and known as coefficient of linear thermal expansion. Coefficient of linear thermal expansion. It is defined as increase in length per unit length, increase in length per unit length per degree rise in temperature. Mean we can, in other words, we can say alpha is a ratio between change in length and the product of original length and temperature. So other words we are saying here now, increase in length, increase in length per unit length per degree rise in temperature. The greater the value of alpha, the greater will be the rate of expansion. Whenever it is just going to increasing uh, the alpha, mean coefficient of linear thermal expansion, it is just going to expand, their rate of expansion will be increasing. On in other words, we can say to find the L2, we can say that L2 is equal to L1. Uh, so delta L we can say L2 minus L1. So when we will shift L1, then it will add in delta L. So L2 is equal to L1 plus delta L is equal to L1 plus alpha 1 or alpha L1 delta T. So when we are taking alpha is L1 is a common, so it will come into 1 plus alpha delta T. So L2 is equal to L1 multiplied by 1 plus alpha delta T, or its unit will become, mean the unit of the coefficient of linear thermal expansion is 1 over K, or we can say per Kelvin, 1 over K or per Kelvin. Now here the linear expansion of a different solid are, so aluminum having 24 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 6, and it can be 2.4 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 5 Kelvin. Brass and bronze 19 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 6, and in Kelvin 1.9 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 5. Copper is 17 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 6, that is 1.7 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 5. Glass or ordinary, we can say 9 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 6, that is 0.9 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 5. Glass or pyrex, that is 3.2 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 6, and In Kelvin, we can say 0.32 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 5. Hard rubber, 80 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 7, and 8.0 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 5. Ice is 51 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 6, and 5.1 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 5. And here, Inver or Ni, CrLy, chromium alloy, that is 0.9 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 6, and that is 0.09 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 5. Lead, that is 29 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 6, and 2.9 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 5 Kelvin per Kelvin. Now here, steel is 11 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 6, while in Kelvin you can say 1.1 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 5. So concrete, that is 12 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 6, that is also equal to 1.2 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 5 per Kelvin. These are the linear expansion of a different solid. Now, student, the home task is that first you will write the differentiate between heat and temperature. Second question is gives the general feature of a thermometer, describe the construction and working of Celsius, Fahrenheit, and Kelvin scales of temperature. The second one is third question is define thermal expansion, explain expansion in solid with the help of experiment. Now the fourth question is describe linear thermal expansion of solid. Thank you so much, student, for your cooperation. Thank you so much.